Okay, here's another Alex problem. Let's just read through this. One way in which the useful metal copper is produced is by dissolving the mineral azurite, which contains copper 2 carbonate and concentrated sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid reacts with the copper 2 carbonate to produce a blue solution of copper 2 sulfate. Scrap iron is then added to this solution and pure copper metal precipitates out because of the following chemical reaction. Alright, so there's the equation. Suppose an industrial quality control chemist analyzes a sample from a copper processing plant in the following way. He adds powdered iron in a 350 milliliter copper 2 sulfate sample from the plant until no more copper will precipitate. He then washes, dries, and weighs the precipitate and finds that it has a mass of 84 milligrams. Okay, so how would I go about tackling this? Worry about the sig figs. Alright, so I really only have two pieces of quantitative information, 84 milligrams, and then there's some volume that I'm going to have to deal with. And the units are going to have to be in grams per liter. Well, this is already in milliliters, so let's just hurry up and convert this into liters. So there's 350 milliliters, and I know that there are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter, and so I have here 0.350. I have 0.350 liters. Alright, so that's going to be this in liters. Alright, see if we can now get the grams part of this. Okay, so I start off with 84 milligrams of copper. That's what it tells me. Okay, well, I need to convert that into grams, and so there are 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram of copper. We're still in copper. And if I look on the periodic table, I know I got to get into moles, and so I know that there are 63.5 grams in 1 mole of copper. Alright, now it's asking me how much, what's the original concentration of copper 2 sulfate? Well, I know from up here that for every 1 mole of copper that is produced, then I consumed 1 mole of copper sulfate. So it's a 1-to-1 stoichiometry. So I know for every 1 mole of copper that there is 1 mole of copper 2 sulfate. Oops, SO4, I don't need a parenthesis. Okay, now I will need grams of copper 2 sulfate. So I know that in 1 mole of copper 2 sulfate there are 159.6 grams. So let's just see if our units will cancel. Milligrams of copper do cancel. Grams of copper do cancel. This is a true statement right here. And my moles of copper cancel. This is a true statement that I got from this right here. I get from my chemical equation, and then finally this is a true statement that in 1 mole of copper sulfate there are 159.6 grams. So if I do all of that math, then from my calculator I get that there are 0.211, I think it's 1 grams of copper 2 sulfate. Well, it's asking me for this in some concentration, grams per liter. Well, I had 350 milliliters, which I already converted to 0.350 liters. So if I divide that by 0.350, then I am left with 0.60 grams per liter. At least that's the math that I calculated. Assuming I didn't make any errors, then that would be the answer. It has to have 2 sig figs because of my 2 sig figs right there. So again, you have to look at the answer. You need grams per liter of copper 2 sulfate. Do your stoichiometry down here. Finally, divide by the liters, and so we're left with 0.60 grams per liter. Go team!